Hey guys, welcome back to the Blitz and Grind, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction, well not my predictions, well, my opinions on the Myles Garrett trade. So, I don't, I'll just start by saying this. I don't personally like the Myles Garrett trade for the Rams. Like, obviously you get a great pass rusher and Myles Garrett, but, I feel like the Browns won the deal, and it's not even close. The Browns, they get Jared Verse, a first-round pick from 2027, a second-round pick from 2028, and a third-round pick from 2029. Those are some key picks that they can definitely use and get some valuable assets. I don't think the Rams completely lost this trade, but if Myles Garrett doesn't pan out, this could look really bad because the 2027 draft class is supposed to be one of the best we've seen in years. I mean, it has so many great players. And let's talk about what the Browns exactly got. So they got Jared Verse, one of the best young good pass rushers in the NFL. And if the Rams did not trade Jared Verse, then this trade wouldn't have happened. And I can definitely see why, because if you're gonna trade away a generational talent in Myles Garrett, who by the way just broke the single season sack record, I want to get Jared Verse at least. And the Browns, they technically fleeced the Rams. The Rams could have had to give up a lot more. And, yeah. So, the Rams, they get Myles Garrett in a win-now move. Because they're trying to make the Super Bowl and win it. And, they definitely have a chance, but something in me just telling me that they're not going to win the Super Bowl. Anyways, so, Myles Garrett, he's like 30 years old, I'm pretty sure. I don't have a script, so I'm not exactly sure. But I'm pretty sure he's 30 years old. So he's just exiting his prime. Like, he's still in his prime, so we can still see good Myles Garrett for, another, 2-3 years. But, after that, then, who knows? The Browns. So they get, like I said, they get Jared Verse. They get another first-round pick on top of theirs, which is probably going to be pretty bad because the Browns, they're not a good team. And they also pretty much get 2 second-round picks because the Rams, they're going to be a playoff team. So they pretty much have 2 second-round picks, which is going to be a late first and a second. So, the Browns, they're going to cook. And the Rams, if Myles Garrett doesn't pan out, then it could be really bad for them. But the reason why I personally like this trade more for the Browns is because they have a young pass rusher who can definitely develop under the Browns system. They also have some great picks where they can get some generational talents in the 2027 draft and future draft, obviously. Now, the Rams, they do get Myles Garrett, who should be good, barring injury. And, he should pick up right where he left off with those 23 sacks. So, if the Rams, I could see a world where the Rams win, let's say. If they win a Super Bowl or something like that, then, they definitely they could have this trade won. But I still feel like Jared Verse is better for your long-term plans because he's a really young receiver a really young edge rusher who could still definitely improve. I mean, he's not perfect right now, but he could be the quote-unquote Myles Garrett of the future for them. Myles Garrett, he's not going to be like a future asset. And also, another reason why I don't really like this trade that much is because the Rams are not going to have much salary cap. How are they going to re-sign Puka and all of that young talent? Braden Fisk, there's so many good young players that they've drafted. It's going to be really hard to sign them. Most importantly, obviously, Puka Nacua because he's pretty good at football. So, yeah, he was a 5th-round pick, so obviously he hasn't made much money. And he's going to want a big contract. And I don't know how the Rams are going to afford it if they're trading for all these players. They re-signed Trent McDuffie to 4 or 5 year, $124 million contract. And, obviously they have Myles Garrett now. Re-signed Matthew Stafford. Kyron Williams is going to be there. So many good players it's going to be really difficult to resign Puka Nacua, who is arguably your best player. I mean, obviously Matthew Stafford, but you could say that Puka Nacua is the best player on the team, and possibly in football. And Myles Garrett, he's obviously going to produce for the Rams, but cap space is going to be a really, really big issue for the Rams in the future. And hopefully they can, make this trade work out. Maybe have to restructure some contracts and do all that. But it's going to be difficult for Los Angeles in the future, let's say. I'm not saying the Browns 100% won this trade, but I feel like as of right now they have. I mean, obviously you have great draft picks, Jared Verse, who should be good. The only concern for Jared is that you're going to have to re-sign him, but, it shouldn't be too difficult. They don't have many good players under long-term contracts, especially after getting rid of Myles Garrett. So they should have plenty of cap space to re-sign Jared Verse to a long-term deal. And now, what does Myles Garrett do for the Rams' Super Bowl chances? Now, the Rams with Myles Garrett, they could really just win the Super Bowl, and it may not even be close. But, if injuries or anything happens, then I don't know. The Browns probably would win this trade. We're going to have to see after 2029, I guess, after the third-round pick. The Rams, they're going all in yet again. It worked out in 2021, and they won the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying that they won't win the Super Bowl, but it's going to be a little difficult for Los Angeles. But obviously they still have a chance, but their division's going to be difficult. And if the Browns can get a franchise quarterback, which is a lot to ask with this organization, then they could be building something here. They already have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. So and Harold Fannin, that's a good start on offense. And obviously their defense is pretty much elite. Actually, I wouldn't say elite, but it's close to elite. Especially if Jared Verse can pan out, then the Browns, dare I say, they could be a scary team. But it's definitely not going to be this year because, they don't have a good quarterback. I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is the answer, but I don't know. If they can find a quarterback in that 2027 draft, then Dante Moore, Arch Manning, then who really knows? The Browns, they could be a playoff team in a few years, but that's it for today, and see you guys in the next one.